Hey guys, so today I'm partnering with Thermomix to bring you two really delicious and easy holiday recipes. So if you haven't heard of it, Thermomix is this really amazing kitchen tool. It's kind of like a blender, meets food processor, meets stand mixer. It even sautés and steams. It does nearly everything in the kitchen for you, and it's become my own personal sous chef, which is pretty awesome. So today we're gonna show you two recipes, how to make savory apple and onion tartlets, as well as how to make homemade peppermint patties. So today I'm gonna show you this really easy and delicious appetizer that's one bite. It's perfect for any holiday parties you have coming up, whether you're hosting them or whether you're just going to them. So let's get started by first chopping our onions. So the Thermomix actually chops and sautés the onions, which is amazing because if you're anything like me, you just end up crying when you try and chop onions. So I've got onions, I'm just gonna pour it in, and it's gonna take care of caramelizing the onions for us. So my onions are chopped. Next, it's gonna saute it, and it'll take about 20 minutes. And afterwards, you're gonna have these beautiful caramelized onions, which are gonna be the base for that tartlet. Into that same bowl, we're gonna add some apple slices, as well as 1 teaspoon of sugar, just to bring out the apple sweetness, and a little butter. And put the lid on and let Thermomix do its thing. Okay, so my apples are sauteed and cooked down until they're kind of like nice and soft. We're gonna remove those from the Thermomix and then we're gonna assemble these tartlets. Okay, next I have 1 sheet of puff pastry. Today I'm using store-bought puff pastry, but you can always make your own puff pastry if you wanted to. So let's roll that out into like a 10-inch square. We're then gonna brush it with egg wash. The egg wash is really gonna help it get golden brown when we bake it. From there, we're gonna cut into 2-inch squares. So this is the hardest part of the recipe. My squares are never perfect and like exactly 2 inches, so do the best you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. But if you have a ruler, don't be afraid to use one. Okay, so I got them pretty square. We're gonna take these squares and then place them onto a parchment-lined baking sheet. So we're gonna assemble these tartlets in this baking sheet. Just makes it so much easier to transfer to the oven. So first step in these tartlets is to add about 1 teaspoon of the caramelized onion mixture, just right on in the center. We're gonna top that with a couple of the apple slices. And then from there, just a sprinkle of blue cheese. I love the combination of apple and blue cheese, but if you don't like blue cheese, like my husband despises it, you could also just use Gruyere, goat cheese, or even like really sharp cheddar. It's totally up to you. And then we're gonna put a little bit of thyme on top and finish with a pinch of flaky sea salt. And then just repeat with the remaining squares. Into a 400-degree oven for about 22 to 25 minutes or until golden brown. Okay, so while those apple and onion tartlets bake, I'm gonna show you how to make my peppermint patties. So I know you can buy peppermint patties at the store, but once you try homemade peppermint patties, it's like a total game changer. They are totally delicious. So let me show you how to make them. So first we're gonna add in powdered sugar into the Thermomix bowl. One of the great things about the Thermomix is it actually will weigh out the ingredients for you too, so you know exactly how much to put in there. So we're gonna really quickly just blitz this powdered sugar to kind of like whisk it together to make sure there's no lumps. Okay, so to that powdered sugar, we're gonna add in some corn syrup. You can use agave nectar if you don't wanna use corn syrup too. A little bit of water and some vegetable shortening, as well as peppermint extract. This is the most important ingredient in these peppermint patties. A little goes a long way, so we're gonna add in about 2 teaspoons. Add the top back on, and the Thermomix is gonna mix it together until it forms kind of like a dough, which is gonna be the center of those peppermint patties. Okay, so dough is ready, and then we're gonna put it between 2 pieces of parchment paper, and then roll it out until it's about 1/2 inch thick. So I've got a 2-inch round cookie cutter, and we're just gonna stamp out these patties. Take these stamped out peppermint patty dough and just place on a parchment lined baking sheet. So since it's hot in here, I've got my oven on with those tartlets cooking. The dough can get a little soft really quickly, so feel free to throw it back into the refrigerator to firm up for a couple minutes, and that'll make it so much easier to roll out as well as stamp out. It just works better when that dough is cool. Next, let's melt some chocolates. So I like dark chocolate. You can use whatever kind of chocolate you want. So one of the things I love about the Thermomix is it melts chocolate beautifully. It's so much better than the double boiler or the microwave. And I can tell you that I have burnt chocolate in the microwave just like I forgot about it. It's the worst smell ever. So from now on, I'm always melting chocolate in my Thermomix. So we're gonna set that and melt it until it's nice and creamy and smooth. So my chocolate is done. It is like perfectly melted. It looks amazing. So the Thermomix is gonna keep this chocolate at exactly 110 degrees so it will never burn. So we're gonna take this chocolate and dip those peppermint patties into it. So I'm gonna take one of my patties and we're gonna dip it into this melted chocolate. Like I mentioned before, you want your patty dough to be pretty chilled and cold. It's just gonna make this process so much easier. So I've dipped the patty in there, gotten it completely covered with chocolate. Pull it out, kind of wring out the excess on the side, and then put it right back on to that parchment-lined baking sheet. So I've got a little bit of crushed candy cane we're just gonna put right on top. And you wanna do that before the chocolate dries. And then we're just gonna repeat with the remaining peppermint patty filling and the chocolate, and rewarming the chocolate as needed back in the Thermomix. So my peppermint patties are all covered with chocolate. We're gonna let them cool in the baking sheet at room temperature until the chocolate is hard. Okay, so while my peppermint patties cool, let's take a look at these apple and onion tartlets. They look amazing, don't they? They look so good. So I'm gonna put them onto a serving tray and then we are ready to eat them. And I love how the blue cheese has gotten all sorts of caramelized on top. It's gonna be the perfect savory and sweet bite. So there you have it. There are two delicious holiday recipes for your next holiday party, made so much simpler by the Thermomix. I love it, like I said before, because it's basically like my own personal sous chef in my kitchen. So my tartlets smell amazing, and I can't wait to dig into those peppermint patties. That combo of like peppermint and chocolate is like my total weakness. Thanks so much for watching. I've included a link below for all the information you could possibly want about the Thermomix, as well as a link to the recipe booklet that I created with Thermomix. I know the holidays are coming. This would be a really great gift for someone who loves to cook. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and while you're there, make sure to hit subscribe. So happy holidays. Is it too early to say that? Happy holidays.